Welcome back. We're here on another, this is a Wednesday night recording. This shit drops tomorrow. So it's a one-take Sally, folks. There's no edits. Come what may, you're in for it tonight. Because I'm literally gonna play Beat the Benadryl tonight. I have the worst sinus shit happening right now. I don't know if it's like inundated with dust from work or if I caught something at the ER when I had to take my kid for his concussion on Monday, but I'm dying slowly inside from the inside out. And my nose feels like it's going to fall off my face and like it's coated in sandpaper. So there's that. Hi, welcome to the Neurodivergent Convergence podcast where we bitch about our lives. And this is Aminder, but you don't know who I am. I'm Niki, and this is Aminder.
all I can say is no beta, we die like men. So
Okay.
I think the Benadryl's kicking in, so we better speed this up.
Yeah, we better speed this shit up. No time for stories. We just gotta get it done. Okay. If this is your first episode, I'm so sorry. Both of us are having technical difficulties again today. Amanda's computer decided to unalive itself, so it is no more. And she's on her phone, and I'm dying, so I'm on my phone in my bed. So bear with us. Aminder.
Mm-hmm.
I'm reading things first, yes?
Yes.
So we do the Mad Lib first, right?
Yes. We're
no.
professionals.
Okay, yes, we're professionals.
Okay. Go on.
Okay. So I need from you, ma'am, a noun.
Okay. Because I watched Oppenheimer last night, I'm gonna go with atomic bomb.
Okie dokie. I also need a number.
13,476.
Okay. Verb ending in ing, please.
Bum-fuzzling.
Make that 2 verbs ending in ing.
Whamming, as in wham bam, thank you, ma'am.
Okay. person in the room.
Fucking Jeremy.
Fucking Jeremy. If y'all don't know who fucking Jeremy is, go listen to last week's episode. You'll learn who fucking Jeremy is. He's going to become a staple here on the podcast, so you might want to get familiar with Jeremy. And we're really going to get to know Jeremy well tonight in our AI story, so just you wait. Just you fucking wait. Okay, I need a verb, please.
Opine.
What that mean?
To give your opinion on something.
Okay, that tracks now that you say that. Okay. How about country, please?
Vatican City.
Okay, that is indeed a country.
It is.
Noun.
Fartlek.
What the fuck is that?
It's apparently, I heard it the other day, it's apparently like a running training regimen, like a type of running program. Like it's Swedish, so that's why it sounds like it belongs on an IKEA furniture piece.
Okay. I mean, I fart when I run, so that tracks. I mean, that tracks. It's fine. Okay. How about a verb?
Eviscerate.
Ooh. Adjective.
Nail biting.
These are some like suspenseful type things we got going on here.
It was a suspenseful movie last night, you know?
Yeah, I say this all sounds quite inspired by Oppenheimer. Or Oppenheim, or whatever the fuck it is. Barbie, I don't know. How about a silly word?
Barbenheimer.
Barbenheimer.
Loosey goosey.
Okay. Exclamation.
Christ on a cracker.
I used to say that all the time.
Yes.
Okay, noun.
Doggo.
Doggo.
I'm a millennial. I gotta say doggo.
Doggo. And Treatos. You can't just say treats. You gotta say Treatos.
Treatos.
And a verb, past tense, please.
Electrified.
Verb, post haste. That's what I wanted to say. And finally, a noun.
Elephant on a elephant on a unicycle.
Okay. All right, folks. For our Mad Lib this week, we have what be called dial-up drama, because in fact we do actually have some technical and internet difficulties going on at the current moment. So I felt it fitting to throw this one in the mix today. We're going to be finishing up our 90s one real soon, so we'll have more to move on to, but dial-up drama it is. It's dark in my room. I can't fucking see what I'm reading. Okay, hold please. All right, ready? Getting connected to the worldwide atomic bomb is as easy as 1, 2, 13,476. Follow these quick steps to start bumfuzzling the information superhighway. Make sure no one in your house is whamming on the telephone. Tell fucking Jeremy he can call his crush later. That was perfect. Double opine on the Vatican City online button and enter your username and fartlek. A message that says dialing will eviscerate upon your screen. Your computer modem will make nail-biting sounds, which are such as buzz, loosey-goosey, and Christ on a cracker. It will sound like a doggo in a blender.
Oh no! Oh no!
No, not the doggo in the blender. No.
Oh god.
No, that's so terrible.
I'm a murderer.
Congratulations. You're now electrified to the internet. If you're lucky, a voice will say, "You've got elephant on a unicycle." The end. Oh. Oh no, not the doggo in the blender.
There you go. There's a title. Doggo in a blender.
Oh no.
Oh no.
Well, speaking of, we'll touch on that real quick before we move on to the AI story. Yawn break. Okay, yawn counter number 1. Benadryl, God help you. Please just hold off. Give me a half an hour, Benadryl, please. I'm praying to the Benadryl gods. Anyway, I did some reading and did some thinking. And we want to be searchable, right? We want to be able to be found. There's really no point in continuing to do this every week if nobody's listening. So I had to make an executive decision on the titles for the episodes. They're going to be real straightforward and to the point and quite searchable and SEO friendly. But the descriptions will be very vague and strange. And that'll do it. But we got to keep our titles searchable. So we're just going to keep it to like basic shit.
Gotcha. Makes sense.
Makes sense. So that's so if you see the titles have changed, that's why. I made them very simple so that we're searchable and SEO friendly. Because like I want people to listen to the show, right? Not like 3 people who kind of like us who listen every week, you know. There's that. Mm-hmm. Anyway, moving on, ma'am. What do we have today in the AI Stories Chronicles of Jeremy version? What do we got going on?
So this one, the keywords are Jeremy, dial-up, and psychic. Here we go. Like any good living psychic cat, Jeremy has learned that while he might not be able to look at a dial-up modem in the eye without freaking out a bit, he can give people psychic insights from afar, from the shadows. Jeremy calls up his psychic sister in her hometown in Australia. She talks about someone stealing her cat from her backyard. This information is then placed on Jeremy's psychic dial-up and delivered to clients with visions of the cat up on the roof of their house. After each psychic insight, Jeremy is shown how to dial up a virtual portal to a psychic portal from anywhere in the world. Anyone with the correct psychic dial-up skills can communicate with Jeremy's sister using psychic portals. The psychic dial-up technology is sold to families. Here's Jeremy in action on a virtual portal between the home of Jeremy's sister, who lives in Australia, and the psychic portal in Jeremy's home, where Jeremy resides. On the left side of the portal is the cat. In the center is the dial-up modem, and on the right is Jeremy at his virtual house in the hills of California. That's the story of Jeremy, the psychic cat. The rest of this tale will explore the future of mankind's relationship to the internet. Find more information about the film at www.setyourdiagnosis.com.
What the fuck? Okay, so we're fleshing
boy.
Jeremy out, right? We're trying to give Jeremy, we're trying to form a thought form that is Jeremy. So
Yes.
apparently now, Jeremy is a psychic cat. So Jeremy is not a person now. Jeremy is a psychic cat, which tracks. Because if you remember, we lost our animal connection when Google figured out you were a real person.
Right.
And not
Yes.
an anonymous animal. So
Yes.
I feel like the universe has given back our animal connection and we have earned Jeremy the psychic cat out of it. Okay. So Jeremy the psychic cat. He
So apparently
lives
in a virtual house.
virtual house in the hills of California. Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. With a sister in
and
Australia.
he has a sister who lives in Australia who's also a psychic cat. Okay. Who lost her cat. So
a cat that owns a cat.
Yeah, a psychic cat who owns a cat that got lost. And Jeremy the psychic cat is trying to help his sister find her cat that was lost.
Using psychic portals.
Yeah, using a psychic portal. So Jeremy the psychic cat, we have more of this character fleshed out now. So from now on, what I'm going to do with this AI story is I'm going to keep feeding it little tidbits from the last story that we get about this and see what it does. I just want to see how fleshed out Jeremy can become from this AI situation, right? Like maybe instead of keywords, we'll start giving it a sentence. And like Jeremy the psychic cat, something, and see what the fuck it does. And we can just keep fleshing Jeremy out. Okay? We love this. I love Jeremy as a psychic cat. So here we are. Speaking of psychic, good segue into our topic today. So we're here to talk to y'all about neurodivergent, ADHD, autistic, like mainly ADHD. They talk about this with, like, y'all feel like you have like some psychic abilities, like some really good intuition, or like ESP. We hear that a lot in this community of like, I'm so good at like predicting when things are going to happen that I feel like I have psychic abilities, right? So we're just going to have a little talk at you kind of episode about this because I find it quite interesting, and it's really all the Benadryl is going to let me do tonight. I can't research. I can't recite. So we're just going to chit chat at you about this topic. Aminder, how do you feel about this topic? Do you feel, ma'am, that you have some sort of connection to the psychic portal like Jeremy the psychic cat has, where you can see into the future of things and help people find their lost cats? How do you feel, ma'am?
Well, I mean, I've always said, and I've talked about this before, that I have the useless ability of being able to tell when a timer is about to go off. Because I don't have necessarily have time blindness, but I am able to just determine, set any timer, and I will, usually within 10 seconds, know when it's going to go off. I mean, it's not very helpful trying to find someone's cat, but it's helpful when I don't want to burn things when I cook them. So that's good. And then
yes,
but it's also like the whole intuition thing, because it's I sent you a TikTok about it. It was like, it's kind of like, you walk into a room and it's like, nah, the vibes are off. Nah, vibes are off in here. I can't do it. Like, you ever get that feeling like you just kind of like feel like energy type of thing?
Yeah, absolutely. As a matter of fact, I'll put it in the show notes, but that reel that you sent me in the chat, abso-fucking-lutely. Yawn counter, yawn number 2. Okay, y'all are on your way to being drunk tonight. So, yes, that is very much me. I am very much a vibes person. Like, I will say, there's been, I'm not going to say too much about it, but like, work has sort of gotten a little bit more down. There's a certain person at work that I keep picking up on, and I feel like like I finally just said, like I kept asking him, "Are you good? Everything good?" Like the last few days. Finally, I just turned around and looked at her and I said, "Listen, I don't know what it is. You're not obligated to tell me what's wrong, but I just need you to know that I know that you're not okay. And I can physically feel that you're not okay because your vibes are all off and I can tell. So I just need you to know that I know. That you know that I know. That you know that you're not okay."
Right. Like I've accidentally made a coworker cry because it's like I'd walk by her desk and then something would seem wrong. And I'd be like, "You good? Everything okay?" And then she started crying. And I'm like, "Oh no." And it's not like she was like
no.
openly looking sad or anything, like on the verge of tears.
Right.
Like that kind of look, but it's kind of like, you fine? You good, cuz?
Yeah.
No, she was not good. She was not good.
Yeah, and like we just know this shit. I just know. Like you don't have to, and I'm almost always right. Almost always right. Very rarely am I like off base with this, especially since like coming to understand the difference between someone's vibes being off and someone just being in like a focused state. Like I feel like the more that I understand neurodivergence, I can pick up on things that are happening that are very clearly a neurodivergent thing that's happening, like someone being spaced out or someone feeling like looking aloof, you know, like they say a lot of times where like or the flat affect. It's not the flat affect that's making me feel like something's wrong. It's literal like I can't explain it to you. It's like literally I have the vibes off. Like I could walk past that person and become physically disturbed by their presence because something is wrong. Like I can physically feel your energy is different than it usually is. Or your body language is different than it usually is. Or your face looks different than it usually does. It's literally the most subtle things that I will pick up on that I feel like nobody else notices. And in one of the articles you sent me, I saw something. I can't remember which one. Let's see if I can find it. One of them was kind of explaining why that is. And
I think I have it open. I think this is what you're talking about. It says the average brain manages to sort and filter down all the incoming sights, sounds, tastes, smells, and touch sensations to a manageable 40 bits of information a second. The ADHD brain has an overload of sensory input, plus issues with what are known as executive functions. That is sorting, filtering, deciding, discarding, prioritizing, following through, checking details, tracking progress, following procedures. It says, consider the upside. When your brain lets in on a lot of what some folks might consider irrelevant noise, it can show up in odd ways. Sometimes you're able to notice things others naturally filter out, which is why many ADHD adults will swear they are intuitive, almost psychic at picking up certain things.
yes. Yeah, that's exactly it. I get that. I get that. It makes a lot of sense. And then there was something else in the witchy article you sent me that talked about one of them talked about theta waves and how ADHD brains generate a much lower frequency of a theta wave. So it's like our brains are almost always in like chill mode and like sleep mode, which is why like in a crisis, it like snaps us out of that so rapidly that we're actually able to like tap into the calm and be calm in those crisis moments. And when we're not, there isn't any crisis going on, we are having the opposite reaction. That's when we get anxious or nervous, or we're actually really good under pressure because of the way our brain waves function. So I searched what the fuck is a theta wave, right? Because I don't know anything about brains on this physiological level, right? I don't know this. And I'm going to give you just a little bit of what I found, but I'm not going to like read it all. But it says children and adults with ADHD will produce excessively lower frequency theta waves. Alpha waves are associated with the state of relaxation. Alpha waves will occur when our brains shift into a relaxed and disengaged idle state. It says excessive frontal alpha activity is often associated with adult ADD and ADHD and depression. Beta waves are present when we are in a state of mental or intellectual activity, outward focus. However, people with excessively high beta activity may have conditions such as anxiety, obsessive compulsive disorder, irritability, agitation, all of those things, substance abuse, bipolar. Gamma waves are the fastest measured brain waves and are considered essential for information and sensory binding and are present during cognitive thought when the brain is processing and linking information from all parts of the brain. So high amounts of gamma brainwave activity is often associated with high levels of intelligence, enhanced memory, compassion, and natural feelings of contentment. A deficiency in gamma brainwaves is often seen in individuals with learning disabilities, diminished mental processing, and cognitive decline. And so that was kind of a little bit of what that was about. Theta. Oh, I skipped some. So delta and theta. I was trying to find it, but it was above where I was. Sorry. So delta waves are the slowest brain waves and are present primarily during sleep or when in a non-aroused state. They should not be excessive during an awake state. If seen in an awake state, these waves may suggest that issues related to depression, closed head injury, and learning disorders. Theta waves are present when we are daydreaming or fantasizing and are commonly associated with creativity and intuition. So there's our word. Interestingly, the lower range of theta waves are present during the time between waking and sleep when we are feeling very calm, serene, and in drifty states. Higher range of theta brainwaves are commonly found when we are engaging in complex, inward-focused problem solving, like doing math problems in our head. People in a deep meditative or hypnotic state will also have high-frequency theta waves. Presence of excessive theta waves during a normal awake state could reflect problems with focus and attention and head injuries and learning disorders. So we have like that high, like that excessive theta wave thing going on all the time. So our focus and attention is affected by that because we're always kind of doing that problem solving, inward focused kind of stuff, right? And when it's high all the time like that, it's difficult to keep focus. But when something comes in and we have to act quickly and it's interrupted, those waves are interrupted, we're able to like snap into the calm and focus on what needs to be done. So like there was a study, I guess, that was done that a lot of the most successful like entrepreneurs and ER doctors and things like that, almost all of these people are neurodivergent in some way, most likely ADHD, because of how fucking good they are in a crisis situation. So I don't know. That was a little bit of brain shit for you to back that up. It's got to do with the waves, right? You're catching the right or wrong waves. It's fucking with your shit. Okay. That's what a brain does, I guess. I don't know. The squishy thing in your brain box that's made of water and fat runs your whole shit. And we know very, very a minuscule amount of what this thing can actually do. So
we're not brain surgeons, okay? Brain doctors.
Right. The squish thing between my ear holes apparently has a lot to do with whether or not I feel like I'm a psychic cat like Jeremy or not. So thoughts.
To kind of nerd it up, the way you were describing it, how we're kind of like in a like hypnotic, not really hypnotic, but you know, like semi dream state at all times until a crisis happens. It just reminds me of, like I said, nerd brain going on here, of like the Winter Soldier, like Captain America, the Winter Soldier, where he's put into cryo sleep until they need him. And they're like, okay, bitch, time to wake up.
Right.
You're needed. And so it's
exactly.
like, okay, I can do it.
Right. It's like we're putting our brain on ice until it's actually necessary for it to function at a high level, because we're only ever good at that level for a short amount of time. Like it's not sustainable. So like it comes in waves for sure. Like back to the waves thing. You know that in a crisis, we can snap that shit on and we're really good. I've always said when shit's melting down around me, I'm always calm. I'm like the person you want in your corner when shit's hitting the fan, because I will be chill. But I like in just mundane life, I melt out. So it just makes a lot of sense to me.
Like I'm sitting down, I drop something that's out of reach that I have to get up, instant crying fest. Like, oh my God.
Like, why? What is wrong with my life? Yeah, and it's a just full fucking meltdown for no reason. I get it. Our brains are just so fucking interesting, and they're different. And brains are crazy to start with, right? And everybody's brain's a little different. But the neurological and physiological differences between neurodivergent brains and neurotypical brains is like a whole fucking PhD master's degree program you could enroll yourself in and probably spend the rest of your life learning about this shit. It's fucking fascinating to me how this little squishy fat bag between our ear holes is so
it's basically us. It's who we are.
It's who we are, and it governs our entire meat suit. The whole thing, right? It governs the whole meat suit, and it also is responsible for that fucked up dream you had about shoving hot dogs in your belly button to eat. You know what I mean? Like, it just, the dumbest shit will come out of this fucking crazy fatty squish ball. But also, it runs a fucking series of complex things all day long that keeps this meat suit animated and keeps you alive.
It's like we're on weed and LSD at the same time.
Yeah.
All the time.
Like, no wonder there's something I should have fucking saved it, but it was some meme. It was like the same squishy fat bag that keeps your whole meat suit alive is also, it was like along the line of that dream thing. It was like, is also the same one that made you dream about whatever, something stupid. It's like, no wonder we're anxious all the time. Like, this thing is literally responsible for our entirety of our reality, our life, our perception. Everything about us is governed by this thing between our ear holes. And those of us that have different ones than everybody else, you could probably, like I said, spend an entire fucking career learning about just one person's weird squish bag, let alone how all the other weirdo squish bag people correlate with each other, and how we know that you know that we know that you're not okay. Right? Like,
right.
You know what I mean? It's crazy. I mean, I know this makes all the fucking no sense, right? I get it. But it's brains, man. Like, brains don't make sense. Brains shouldn't be real. I was thinking about this on the drive home. Like, I feel like people talk about aliens, like extraterrestrials and shit all the time. I feel like our brain has to be some little alien thing. Like, and it somehow found its way into a meat suit. And we're just a bunch of aliens walking around here. Like I don't, where there's some cartoon where the brain has eyes and like walks around, and I can't remember what it is, but oh my god, it's, I think of a brain that way. I think of a brain like a completely autonomous thing that just so happened to find its way into being able to grow into meat suits and inhabit meat suits on this earth and have a way to walk around and talk and get its things out, when otherwise it would just be kind of rolling around on the ground. I don't know. It's just stupid. This is the Benadryl talking. It's the Benadryl talking, and I'm not editing any of this. It's so, this is going to be such a fucked episode. We need to just call it a shitsode. That's what we should call it. This is a shitsode. That's what it is.
Epishit.
Oh my god.
Here we go.
Epishit. It's the epishit. Ugh, the shitsode. Anyway, about any better coherent thoughts than a alien inhabiting a meat suit? You gotta have better shit than that.
Well, I was thinking, it's kind of like, okay, so this is where, like, and like I said, you know, my ADHD is diagnosed, my autism is self-diagnosed at the moment, but like ADHD and autism kind of like fight against each other in this way as well, because like, while I can tell how someone is feeling, like if I'm talking to someone, I can tell that they're bored with what I'm saying, like that, or like I had a coworker that came to my office to tell me something, and she kept trying to walk away, but then I kept trying to, like, you know, I could tell she was trying to like leave, but then I kept talking to her because my ADHD side could tell that she wanted to end the conversation, but my autistic side, who doesn't pick up on social cues, was like, no, stay. Talking. You're my captive audience. Let me talk. It's like, even though I know in my brain that she wanted to end the conversation, it's like I can tell when people are bored with me, but I don't have like the social grace to shut the fuck up.
Right.
And
Yeah.
and it's also like you said, being able to tell, and also it's kind of like the whole, like, I've been left out of a lot of things my entire life, like not really social outcast, but kind of like, the unpopular kid my entire life.
Right.
So I know the benefit, like I know what it means to be included. So whenever I see someone that either is getting talked over in a conversation, or they are kind of standing aloof, or like maybe they want to join in but they can't, like I will make it, because I can tell like that they want to be, in the group, included in conversation, whatever. I will openly, like, I'll be like, oh, what were you trying to say? Like, where everyone else is ignoring them and they're trying to
Right.
say something, because people have done that to me my entire life, like just talking over me or interrupting me. Like, I will go out of my way to be like, oh, what were you saying? Or, what was that? And so it's kind of like, so my ADHD working with I've been fucking bullied my whole life. So
Mm-hmm.
there's that too. But as like you said, as far as the intuition, it's like it's kind of like a superpower in the way that's like we can just tell when something's off, when a person's off, situation's off. It's just like I said, the vibes are off, man. But like I don't
Yeah.
like
The
it here.
vibes are
Vibes
off.
are off. Mm-hmm.
Right. So
As
I
you
did a
should.
quick Google search because I remembered something else about this, like in a more like down to earth and actually makes coherent sense type of thing, and is more
Especially
scientifically based. Like,
especially to a Benadryl mind.
yeah, Benadryl mind not included here. There is a strong connection with pattern recognition and feeling like you have psychic or intuitive abilities, right? There's a very strong like scholarly studies have talked about this. So basically, neurodivergent thinkers have a lot of superpowers, right? We've talked about this. And one of them is pattern recognition. So we have the ability to find and rapidly process information that nobody else is picking up on. Because though it's a blessing and a curse, our brains, because of our executive dysfunction, are not interpreting like every stimuli in its own environment. So we're not able to parse out what's important, subconsciously anyway, what's important to listen to and what's not. We're taking in all the stimuli all the time. So while that sucks and can lead to burnout and needing, space, it's also a blessing because it means we're missing nothing. We're missing nothing.
Especially a lot of it's on a subconscious level too.
Yes. I'm not just hearing what you're saying to me. As a matter of fact, that might be the last thing I'm doing is hearing what you're saying to me. But I'm paying attention to what's going on with your body language, what your foot's doing, if you touched your hair, what your eyes look like. And every time we have a conversation, I'm unconsciously noting this shit. And then the next time we have a conversation, if I see a variance, even unconsciously, I will note that too. And then that will send signal to my brain. This is different. Something's different about this. All unconsciously, mind you, because who has time to think about that? It's just happening. And that's how we figure out what the patterns are. That's why I know this one particular coworker, there's something wrong with her because she's not acting like she usually does. She's not acting like she usually does with anybody, but especially around me. And so I know that leads me to believe something I have done has upset her, or something about being in the environment we're in has changed for her and she's upset, or something is wrong, right? Bottom line, something's wrong. I can figure out this shit without having to figure it out because my brain's just doing it for me. It's not remembering or hearing or processing necessarily what you're saying to me, but I'm picking up on everything else.
Like you said,
so
the
it's a
box
blessing
is
and a
too loud.
curse. Right, exactly. The box was too loud. So because I couldn't filter her speech, the box, the music above me, the people talking in the store, and everything else, I was hearing all of those things at the same time. And so, but I know that if I'm hearing everything at once and she's talking to me, that her talking needs to be what I'm prioritizing. So that's how I learned to tell someone to please stop talking long enough for me to finish what I'm doing, and then I will listen to you, because I can't hear you. Like, I can hear you, but I'm not retaining or understanding anything you're saying because this box is too loud, right? Like, or whatever, right? So
I just like, yeah. Go ahead,
go
finish. I'll
ahead.
let you finish.
No, go ahead.
I was just,
That was
I
what
was
I
just,
had.
I was just thinking like, even okay, so it kind of, to me, there's actually a link between that, like processing everything, like, noticing everything around you, and for me personally, like, the whole auditory processing, because I love going to the movies, like the movie theater, but if people's phones are vibrating, if someone's on their phone, if their freaking smartwatch lights up, like I can hear people like coughing, like I just hear every single noise and I cannot process what's going on
Yep.
on the screen. Like, granted, the movie, like I said, I talked about, like, when went to go see Spider-Verse, like it was a hard time hearing because there's so much fucking loud music in the movie. But it's also like I was paying attention to the lady on the left in the second row playing a solitaire game the entire time. In Little Mermaid, I paid attention to the girl in front of me that was posting a TikTok video at the same time as the movie. Or anytime someone moves their fucking smartwatch and it lights up because they had to have it on Apple Store settings for brightness. It's like, can you not? But it's, to me, so it's kind of like goes hand in hand, where it's, even though I love going to the movies, it's hard sometimes for me to focus and process what's going on in the movie, like just like listening to somebody, hearing somebody, because I'm focused on literally everyone else in the theater. Like the movie I went to last night was packed, and it was probably like actually one of the best like recent movie going experiences, because everyone was silent. Like I didn't see anyone get their phone out. I saw a couple like watches like light up and stuff, but like everyone kept their phones like on fucking silent. They didn't go on them to play or post something or whatever. I'm like, can you not do that for 2 fucking hours? And so I was able to actually focus and hear what was going on the screen. So it's because I was just, usually I just pick up on every single thing else going on around me. And so it makes me hard to focus on someone speaking that's speaking basically directly to me.
Right. Yeah. I'm the same way. I will notice everything but what I should be paying attention to if I'm at a movie theater. Like every cough, every wiggle, every kid saying something, every popcorn bucket hitting the floor, every person that gets up in the middle of the movie to go do whatever they got to do. Like I see and I'm distracted by all of it. And it's sometimes very stressful for me to go to the movie theater, even though I actually quite enjoy going to the movie theater. It just depends on like you said, it depends on what sort of human we're going to get in this movie, right? Like, is this a kids movie? Are there going to be a lot of children laughing and carrying on throughout this movie? Then it's going to be really difficult for me to pay attention. But like maybe something more like the Barbie movie or like this Oppenheimer movie or whatever. I feel like people who are going to a movie like Oppenheimer are genuinely interested in what's going on in the film, so they're probably not going to be as likely to be fucking with their phones, right? So I kind of assess the situation, but I can't sit close to the screen either, so I'm like doomed to be like paying attention to anything and everything around me because I have to sit in like the mid to back of the theater or I can't see. The screen is just like too much. It's too much for my eyes. So I get it. It's difficult to have a brain that filters everything and nothing at the same time. Like it's great to have this little superpower of picking up on everything that no one else can see and hear and perceive, but also struggling to hold on to the shit that really should have come out of that interaction.
It's kind of like our Google search filter, like the content filter. It has the wrong settings. It just
correct.
It does. Like it's like I want to search, for hats. I want to search for hats, and so like, but I will filter out like everything, but like the actual look of the hat, the important part of what you want the hat to look like. But it's like, I would just, my content filter is off. It's like, it's screwy. My settings are jacked. I got hacked at some point. I don't know what to tell you. Spyware, maybe. But but I feel like my brain has been hijacked by like malware sometimes.
Yes, it's just off. There's something different. And that is what being neurodivergent is. Your brain is not typical. It is divergence. It's diverged. That's what I was trying to say. It has diverged from the typical squishy fat ball in between your ear holes that everybody else got. We got different ones. We got the B team.
We were last in line.
Aliens.
We were last in line when they handed out those that day.
Yeah, we got the B team aliens in our meat suits. Okay,
the bench warmers,
the bench warmer
okay.
ones. But you know what though? It's something else I read too. This is kind of a good segue into this. Was like that's actually the opposite argument in the world of like people who actually believe that this is actually a superpower to have this kind of brain. It does have its real world disadvantages because of the kind of society we currently live in and what is important societally at this moment in time that we're living in. However, according to that one witchy article you sent me, people with brains like ours were actually the most respected and revered people in their cultures. They were the healers, they were the seers, they were the medicine men and women, and they were the ones who you would come to for wisdom and understanding, and they were respected because they didn't fit in a box and they did see and readily recognize patterns that no one else saw. They come up with solutions to problems that no one else could solve. Like, well, our brains are actually fucking cool. Like they're great, but they're not meant to work in the world that the society, like the way society is built these days, is not conducive to brains like ours.
Well, think of like academia. You cannot tell me. I mean, I'm pulling this number out of my ass, but you cannot tell me that like less than 90% of people that are like top tier of their field, academia, like scientists, geniuses basically, are not some sort of neurodivergent either.
Oh, autistic, absolutely.
ADHD, and like it's like some sort of like people that love research. I'm like 99% of people that are in research fields probably ADHD or autistic or both, most likely both. But it's like
because no neurotypical brain has the fucking hyper focus to become something like an astrophysicist or like a geologist of some specific kind of rock I don't understand, right? Like there are people that have such niche fucking jobs that are like required to start at this broad category and continue to niche down until you've lost yourself and you find, the igneous rocks are the only things in the world that understand you. Like it's so crazy. No neurotypical brain has time for or wants to learn go that deep down a rabbit hole to where you turn something like that into a career. They just don't. They're worried about like, I don't know, being able to do math in their head correctly or some shit. I don't know. Whatever people with brains that don't have problems do. Like people who don't have inner monologues all the time. I don't know what their life is. I can't comment on such. Our podcast is not called the neurotypical something or others. This is the neurodivergent convergence. We don't understand how their squishy fat balls work. It's just we don't really understand ours either. But to be fair, I really wouldn't understand theirs.
For sure. Yeah.
You're like, okay, that's enough.
It's past 9. It's past 9,
And Benadryl is winning.
It's July 26th. This comes out July 27th because we're responsible humans.
Well, to be fair.
And also life. Yeah, to be fair, your son got hurt, my computer completely got fucked. And so it's life, like shit happens. It happens.
Yeah, my oldest fell at camp and got a grade 2 concussion, and he's doing better today, but day 1 and last night were a little fucking rocky. So we're kind of dealing with that. And then your computer decided to give up the ghost for real, like for real. So she's on the hunt for a pooter before too long, hopefully. And I'm either fighting something I picked up at the ER when I took my son in, or the dust from moving around a brand at work that nobody buys has ruined this meat suit of mine and is rebelling against every ounce of dust that I inhaled moving that shelf around. Either way, Benadryl is winning. So that's our very disconnected and sort of incoherent and abrupt thoughts on whether or not, you know, ADHDers or, you know, neurodivergents in general have this intuitive or psychic ability and are able to, you know, connect with Jeremy's dial-up portal to the psychic realm and converge together and know things people don't know. Yeah. So there's that. Go team. Well done.
Teamwork makes the dream work.
Yeah, well done. I think we have to be done, whether I want to be done or not, because I'm out. I'm gone. I don't know what else to say. This is all I have. Hopefully any of this fucking made sense. And I'm not editing any of it. So this is literal raw audio you're going to hear, because I have to get this uploaded, get all the links and the shits and stuffs in it, and then yeet it into existence for tomorrow. So I'm done. I'm out. All the podcasty shit is in the show notes per usual. These few articles we were referencing in the little Facebook reels and things, I'll throw those in the show notes. Oh, I did manage to change the name of the Discord the memes chat to "If the meme fits, share it." And Amanda and I talked about possibly doing, like, every so many episodes, doing like a neurodivergent meme review where we just hop on and sort of share and discuss our favorite neurodivergent memes. So if this is something that y'all want to like participate in, you can send your neurodivergent memes to that Discord. I will make sure it's linked in the show notes. So if the meme fits, share it to that Discord and we will feature them on a future episode. Undetermined as to how many episodes we're going to get to before we do one of those. We shall see. We will come up with that later. However,
that'll be a future us problem.
That'll be a future us problem, not a Benadryl me problem right now. So, okay, I'm out. Amanda, did I forget anything?
Plug the socials. Everything will be in the show notes. Discord.
Yeah,
Benadryl,
socials are in there.
Jeremy.
Stay tuned.
So I guess this
for
means,
Jeremy's adventures.
Yeah. Peace out, Girl Scout.
Yeah, peace out, Girl Scout, and stay tuned for the adventures of Jeremy the Psychic Cat continuing from here until he dies. I guess, I don't know, until the AI kills him.
Maybe Cartoon Network will pick us up. Who knows?
Maybe. Who knows? Okay, that's it. Okay, I love you. Bye.
Okay, bye.